diys-by-dar. Here are 3 flips from Goodwill that I am going to flip as part of a challenge. And this challenge is the Goodwill Hunting Thrift Flip Challenge. 3 items under $25. This is hosted by us 4 from the Flippin Bunch, Kat, myself, Krystal and Lavonne, and we have Cheryl from Lifestyles of a DIYer. Check out Cheryl on her YouTube channel. Now here were the items that I did purchase from Goodwill. I got this lovely wall hanging, a nautilus for $3. This lovely starfish, which was really a heavy resin piece for $3. And then this frame, which was also $3. That's always a challenge to get those stickers off your frames, depending on how long it's been on a Goodwill. It can really make a mess on the back of the mat. So this is what I'm working with. I'm going to go ahead and get these 3 pieces flipped. And I'm starting with Slick Stick. This is leftover. This product is now called Bonding Boss. It has Slick Stick and Boss in it. This is for metal surface, glass surface, things that paint will not stick well to. And I had fun painting this one because of all the little slats. I had to wipe the back off so I didn't get drips. And the starfish was a bit fun as well. It was quite textured, and I needed to tape off the back of that picture frame because a portion of it wouldn't remove. So I'm getting that all taken care of. Now I have chalk mineral paint in Mud Puddle from Dixie Belle. And I need to get a base layer of something on. So I have a sponge, and I am just dabbing this color all over everything. This is going to be slightly textured, so it doesn't matter. I have patina paint in copper from Dixie Belle and patina paint in bronze from Dixie Belle. I put both colors in a container, and I'm going to use this special tool. Here it comes. Paper. Crunch it up, and that is going to be, now look at my hands, nice and clean right now. They won't be shortly. When you use this stuff, it sticks. I mean, it's really, really hard to get off. I don't know what's in there. Lavonne, you might have to answer that for me. After I did get it all stippled on, I just made my way around and stippled the colors. And with the frame, I did have to use a small paintbrush. Now, on the back of that starfish, I wanted to give some of that detail of the back and not really paint that in. So I just gave it a slight wash with some coffee bean, I believe it was, and wiped it down so you could kind of see the back of that. Here they all are. They're drying, and they're getting ready for my next step, which is using mermaid tail from Dixie Belle. I'm scraping the bottom. Thank goodness I have another jar of this. And dab it on. Dab it on wherever you want it. Don't worry about making a mistake because you are going to go back over this again with your copper colors. I'm going around the circle on all my items and putting my mermaid tail on wherever I feel it needs some of that paint. Now, I wanted a little more iridescent, so I used this iridescent paint from Folk Art Paints, and it's called Color Shift, and it's in a blue color. And I added some in different areas on everything, and you can see I'm just kind of blobbing it on. I told you texture, so it was applied on everything. And as soon as I let that dry, I'm ready to go back in with some more of my copper color, and I need to refine this a little bit. And I just have a real tiny little piece, and just lightly go in and put some more paint over the top to give it more of a not so contrived look, I guess. Oh man, here she goes. She's got some of that gold leaf, which I dropped and it's pretty thick now. This isn't enough for me. So here we go. I'm adding some gold right along the very, very top portion of this whole starfish. All right, I'm ready to seal. I have some polycrylic and a sponge, and we will get these things sealed. As far as the starfish and the frame, I am going to spray the Nautilus. What I noticed when I really had to get in them areas, this stuff, it doesn't matter what it is, the polycrylics seem to get foamy. Does anybody know how to fix this? I'm taking the tape off because I'm ready to get this picture in there. Here's one of my favorite pictures. This is my last one. I've taken some Posca pens in gold, and you can see where I've outlined in some areas there. I just love to do that to give a picture, especially a fantasy one, some extra pop to it. Now you can see this back is in rough shape. I'm checking the picture placement. Now, is this picture in there good? Am I seeing anything around the edge? And it looks good, so I'm happy with that. I can proceed. Looking rough there on that end. I'm going to have to paint that, and all around this whole edge, it's rough. What am I going to put on there? I'm going to have to think about this one. So I finished the bottom of the starfish. 2 coats. It was, I think maybe coffee bean or caviar, and then 2 coats of polycrylic. Now, what I came up with was I had some very lovely rose-colored goldish rope that would fit perfectly in that groove, and I could put it around. And I tried to put a bead on the end when I started, and I started with this glue. This did not work. I pulled on it and it came off, so I have to switch gears here, and I'm going to my Titebond, which I knew was going to be a little more time consuming. That was why I was hoping the other would work. But I just had to take a Q-tip or a toothpick and just slowly feed that in there. Now, if somebody has a real trick where they know how to squeeze a Titebond bottle and get that nice fine bead out of the nozzle, let me know how to do that, because I certainly don't know how. So just slowly pulling it tight and pressing that down, and I had to let each side dry before I proceeded. So that's why sometimes when you're working on stuff, you're doing it in a choppiness sort of way, because maybe something's drying while you're working on something else. I wanted this to look more like wood, so I took that really ragged looking brush, that's why I keep it, and I just have some of that patina, and I'm wiping it in the areas to make it look more like a wooden board, and I had a rag handy in case I needed to wipe some off. I'm looking at my starfish, and no! What has she got? The gilding wax. No, more gilding wax. Yeah, I had to put some more on. It wasn't blinging me enough. I think after I put the matte polycrylic on it, it dulled my gold down, and it lost some of that impact. So I just had to go back with some gilding wax and go straight back on the top of that again to give me that bright gold I wanted on the very, very top portion of that star. Now see how hard this is to cut? I douse this with that Stay Bond glue because when you cut that, that is not going to fray. It is like a rock. So if you're dealing with some rope and you don't want it to fray and you can't burn it, do that. That works the best. And it is difficult to cut. Sometimes you need cutters. Now here is some of the frame damage I need to fix. So I guess I look at the frame. Is it matte? Is it have a sheen to it? It might determine what paint I'm going to use. If it's really matte and it's a small area, I probably will use a chalk paint. A bigger area and it's sheeny, I will go for acrylic. I sprayed this with the matte clear. I didn't want stuff dripping through everywhere. No! Take it away from her! Oh, there we were when we started. They really weren't that bad. I kind of liked the black, but boy, are they nice this way. Let's thank the Flippin Bunch for the challenge. That includes myself, diys-by-dar, Cat from Owling Dog, Krystal from the Crafty Creature, and Lavonne from Statement Designs, and co-host Cheryl from Life of a DIYer. Whew, got that one out. I will have the playlist linked in my description. A lot of fun. Smalls are a lot of fun. Like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.